The expectation of the Gambian people and also the armed forces, I know, is key. I will endeavor to do my best.
He is the choice of the president to lead the transformation process of one of the most crucial sectors of the new Gambia, and a sector which is in desperate need for reforms after a difficult past. A seasoned military officer, an accomplished diplomat after serving as the Gambian ambassador to the Republic of Turkey, yet never before served as a minister, a fresh face in such a capacity. So who is Serigne Modou Njie?
He is a very humble man, a very generous man, and above all, he is a very, very patriotic Gambian, very dedicated to duties, and country first, any other thing become last.
Those who knew him in the army say he comes in with fresh ideas, a source of new optimism for men and women in uniform, a man with military experience and whose role in the transformation of the sector highlights his standing as a distinguished officer.
He's a man who is always encouraging his officers and soldiers who are working under him.
We admire him, and he is a leader because he demonstrates, he showed us who he is, and he will act, and they will follow suit.
A deserved acknowledgement of diligent competence, questions will be raised about the sector's development and how the new defense minister aims to harness existing advances driving security sector reforms. Serigne Modou Njie is the second minister leading the sector's affairs under the Barrow administration.
I have served for 21 good years in the Gambia Armed Forces until 2011 when I was redeployed to the Foreign Service, having attained a rank of a brigadier general. My first posting in the Foreign Service was as a deputy head of mission at the Gambia Embassy, Gambian High Commission in Delhi, and then later redeployed to Ankara as deputy head of mission, Gambia Embassy in Ankara. I have served as deputy head of mission for almost 8 years. Then in 2020, I got my promotion and appointed as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of the Gambia to the Republic of Turkey.
A sector highly polarized in grounds and operations now hopes to refocus and energize its rebranding process. But what is the main priority of the new defense minister?
Improved on the logistical infrastructure for the armed forces, and also to improve the human resource and institutional capacity of the Gambia Armed Forces. Of course, the welfare of members of the armed forces is also key, and to support the Gambia Armed Forces participation in external peace support operation. And also, one key other area is to also improve the civil-military relationship between the armed forces and that of the civilian.
Highly experienced in the field, Njie is now entrusted with building the image of the army, spearheading a Herculean task being driven by the government to revise the country's difficult past. With security sector reforms already on course, the army remains central in efforts to galvanize change. The top defense executive seeks to build upon existing progress to reach the ministry's desired objective for a professional army and strong national security system.
My ministry is a stakeholder in the security sector of the Gambia. There are other numerous relevant stakeholders that are key in the maintenance of peace and stability in the country. When it comes to defense matters, government institutions, internal CSOs, and external non-government organizations, and even government organizations and partners, as well as all Gambian citizens, are all stakeholders in the maintenance of peace and stability in this country.
Numerous efforts have been put in place over the years to improve the military under the Defense Ministry, developed by President Barrow as government moves to restore trust and confidence in the security sector. Advances are steadily gaining momentum, with officials moving to ensure a more committed force that will be primarily regarded as the people's armed forces. Leading a ministry solely responsible for initiating policies, guiding and supervising the Gambia Armed Forces, responsible for the country's external and internal security and territorial integrity. Njai brings immense experience to security sector reforms with a viable expertise in diplomacy expected to boost existing developments. Now the task ahead is to help restore trust and confidence, whilst further meeting welfare needs of men and women in uniform who continue to deliver in a daunting job. Expectations for improvements are high, with many anticipating an effective drive to bring reforms that will return the defense sector to its glory days. For GRTS News, this is Isatou Keita.